Welcome back. Here we are, episode 16 of Behind the Scenes. Lynley, we have a special guest.
Where?
You didn't notice him, did you? This is the Golden Coyote.
Yep.
One of the things we mentioned last week is in year one, we've tried to enhance staff culture, making some things fun. And we have this saying we've used over the years: culture is created by the positive behaviors we celebrate and the negative behaviors we tolerate. But celebrating positive behaviors is really one of the most powerful ways to motivate people.
Yeah.
So you've probably seen these coyotes around campus. They're oddly placed around the lakes to run the geese off.
If you haven't, you will
You
now.
will notice
you
them
will
now.
notice them now.
And so we decided to take one, paint it gold, and call it Goose. And it's the Golden Coyote Award that goes to the staff member who is a true pack animal.
Yep.
A staff member who has shown that they are for the team, they are not for themselves. And so once a month at all staff worship, we present the Golden Coyote Award. So he's been like a ton of fun. It's kind of become an internal mascot. So if you see the staff talking about the Golden Coyote, this is it. And he's really not as heavy as he looks.
He's hollow.
He's hollow and plastic. So I wanted to introduce you to the Golden Coyote.
Yeah.
Second of all,
Yes.
this week we take our last two kids to college.
Yes, we already took one.
Yes.
So-
And it made me think about college.
Yes.
So let's have some fun college questions.
Okay. And we're working in the college space a lot. We got a new college guy coming.
Yes.
Took Miles this week, which was not easy. Even the second time, I still found myself crying quite a bit on the way home.
I did find you in a room with the door shut with lots of tears.
Because we've had lots of people in the house, lots of guests. We got home from taking him, and Jack had someone over, Max had someone over, Ava and Miles were there, and I was like, I just need somewhere to cry.
I couldn't find you, and I went and found a closet.
We had
and
this
there
like
you
back
were.
closet, and I knew no one would find me in there. So,
That's so sad
and
for
I
you.
was listening to this random music and this song, which I haven't heard in probably 2 decades, called "He's My Son" by Mark Schultz. I mean, that will tell
It really
you.
gotcha.
Well, gosh, it's talking about my son. So anyway, that was not what
College.
That's not what we're going to talk about. We were talking about describe Ben of college years.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
Because then you're going to describe you at college years.
Well, I'm not going to describe Ben of college
This
years.
is going to be a surprise to you that I was a bookworm in college.
Shocker.
That when I got my textbooks, I couldn't wait to start highlighting them.
I didn't own a highlighter.
When the syllabus came out, I would study. I'd know my assignments. I put them all in the calendar, and I would get ahead on the reading.
Which we laughed about this because when I got the syllabus, I looked for how many days you could miss and still not get in trouble.
You know, last week we did a first grade Bible presentation, and there was a little boy on stage that went ahead and opened his and started reading it. And I was like, that is so me right there. I loved getting into the books.
Yep.
In fact, this time of year, I'm always a little jealous that I'm not entering into some kind of PhD program on something.
Yes. Yep. Well,
Okay. What were you like in college?
So also similar in personality in that I had all my classes scheduled for the morning because the afternoon we had 2 hours. I was in the band at college. And so I had 2 hours of band practice and then 2 hours of tennis practice. So both a band person and an athletic person. And then the night times I would use for studying or sorority. And so it was a pretty full season, but we've talked about this. Like my personality was developing even then because I'm better busy than not busy.
Yeah, you are.
And I do better staying,
You get depressed when you have too much free time. Like you like to be active.
or I find like projects to do when
Yeah.
we have too much free time.
Yeah.
So
That's
anyway,
who you were in college.
Yeah.
You were the little industrious girl.
Yep.
Yeah,
All right.
Very good. All right. Second question. What's a favorite memory from that season for you?
Well, there's so many. I mean, this is so hard, but I was thinking about this when I went 2 years to college, just undergrad, and then 2 years to get my Bachelor of Dental Hygiene. That is my degree. I have a Bachelor in Dental Hygiene, which does no good if you let your license lapse. So
Well, you
anyway,
can help people take care of their teeth.
I can pull teeth. So like out of children's mouths. But the last 2 years, I lived 35 minutes from the college, and there was 5 of us that lived in this little town, and we all got in this little 2-door Civic, all 5 of us, and drove back and forth every day, and it was so fun because we didn't have cell phones, and so like we had to talk the whole time, so we got very close
Yeah.
those 2 years, and it was
Relationships.
our class was 30 girls and 1 guy, and that 1 guy rode with us, and so poor Clyde had to drive with us every day back and forth for 2 years.
But you're right. Best friends, those kinds of relationships develop around a shared something.
Shared
Like,
experience.
yeah. When I was in college, I was a part of a comedy club that put on skits. It was like Saturday Night Live, but clean.
Mhm.
And it was so much fun. Like I remember just laughing till my side hurt at some of the stuff these guys would think of to do in front of people. And so I've always been a big fan of comedians, and I think people who use humor, it's one of the highest forms of intelligence,
Right.
of knowing how to make people laugh. So I have so many great memories from college of putting on comedy shows with other guys.
Yep.
It was really fun.
Okay.
All right, what's next?
So we can do the hardest memory, or we can go on to sermon.
Let's do hardest memory. What's one hard memory from that season of college?
So the last year of college, I lived in a house with 3 other girls, my very best friends. And this was again before cell phones. So we got word that my best friend and college roommate, her dad had died suddenly of a heart attack. And so they got a hold of us to get her home from college, like to figure out a way to get her home out of her classes and not tell her why, though. So, I mean, that was incredibly difficult. And so anyway, we're home. We know, we're trying not to cry. And this memory is still in my head. And so her mom showed up at the door with a friend and told her, and our friend just screamed and fell to the floor. I mean, I'll always remember it. And so, but it's so hard in that sometimes we tell kids, like even ours as we leave, college are the best years of your life. Like college is so great, but it is also an introduction to the real world, and things happen. And
Yeah.
we had to be there for her. And she, of course, hopped in the car, and we ended up packing her bag and driving down later to where they lived with her stuff for the funeral. But that's something at age 20, 21, you just don't expect to be doing. So that was really traumatic.
Yeah, I think we all have seasons where, the brokenness of the world
Mhm.
comes shining through. I was in college when I got a call to come home as soon as possible. And my mom had had a mental health crisis.
Mhm.
And when I walked into the door, she hardly recognized me. She was so heavily medicated. And that began a journey of trying to deal with family brokenness. And it ultimately led to my dad going through a very similar journey of down mental health and depression.
Mhm.
And so even though I have so many great memories from that season of my life, I
Mhm.
also have kind of blocked out some of the real painful parts
Mhm.
that marked me and
Yeah.
became part of the journey from
I
that point
just,
on.
I think our personality, it's very important to share both. There's really good. It's always what we talk about, that train track of good and that train track of hard,
Right.
because they live simultaneously in all
Right.
years.
Well, this is a hard turn, but let's talk about the sermon today.
Yep.
It was about the book of Jude, which is about standing up for the faith.
Yes.
And there's that passage in Acts 17 that I mentioned about Paul being winsome, but also humble
Mhm.
in the way he presented the gospel. I think we learned a ton about that in Denver when we were church planners.
Okay. Talk about it a
What
little
were
bit.
some of your thoughts about that? Did anything jump in? Like, for example, when I said that we should seek to understand before seeking to be understood,
Mhm.
that certainly was the case for us as church planners in Denver.
Mhm.
People didn't really want to hear anything about our church until we had become, true friends.
Mhm.
In fact, they had their guard up
Yeah.
if we tried to pull the church card too soon. They were waiting for it.
Mhm. This is always a tricky topic because, I mean, you talked about it today. Sometimes you do have to get confrontational with the gospel. And so when we say this, I get nervous because I think people get upset when we aren't, like, don't ever lose an opportunity to speak the gospel. And so that's not our heart at all. Like, we always want to speak the gospel. We want to speak it out through our lives as well, not just in words. And I can say that there was an experience we had out there that taught us this a little bit. So as the church was beginning, we were having a block party. It was a neighborhood block party. Had great success. There was a ton of people there. Just a hot dog, come to get to know your neighbors, hear about storyline sort of thing.
And we had told all our neighbors, like, hey, just come to this. It's just fun. It's just relationship building. We want to spend time with you.
Mhm.
That's what they thought they were coming to.
And we are big on not bait and switch events. If we are going to have an event that's going to share the gospel, we say that in it. If we're going to have a movie night plus gospel presentation, we're going to say that. If it's just a movie night, it's just a movie night. And so we're very upfront with what can be expected because that was important there. So all these people were there, and then a van full of church members they were there on a mission trip. We don't know who they were. They were just there on a mission trip, and I think had just thought, well, there's a big park with lots of people. This is our opportunity. And so they got out in their matching shirts and began coming up to everybody. I mean, even us who were the church planters. And their first question was, the Lord loves you. How can we pray for you? And that's a great question. Like that was not what was wrong with it. But the people that were visiting, thinking about storyline, began to believe that it was kind of a bait and switch, and that these people were coming in and as part of us. And it was really
It really
upsetting.
ruined the event.
It did.
It did.
Because they didn't have, this was the part I was getting back to, is that these people were not seeking to understand before seeking to be understood. They weren't coming out there to get to know the people. Like, tell me about you. How long have you lived here? What is your relationship with religion, with God like? You know, those sort of things, understanding. It was just, how can I pray for you kind of stuff. And so I do want to be cautious. I know this, somebody may say, well, they were doing what they were supposed to be doing, but in their setting, it didn't feel right.
I also want to say there are people with the gift of evangelism that are amazing at turning any conversation to the gospel. I know a lot of folks have been trained in evangelism explosion.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not saying or suggesting that you can't be strategic in having conversations with people and in short order being able to have that conversation about God. But by and large, most people have to build relationships and earn the right to speak. So it's a both and. But I just thought that in Jude, when it says to contend for the faith, part of that is do the hard work of building relationships so that you can get to the point where you can share the gospel. I got a question from a church member I'm going to raise. You ready for it?
I don't know.
Church member said, so I hear you're trying to kill the tree.
Yep.
I came with the mission of killing the singing Christmas tree, apparently. I am not trying to kill the singing Christmas tree.
Of course not.
In fact, I love Christmas programs. You're not going to find a guy that loves Christmas more than me. When I got here, I was told, like, here's what's been happening with the tree. We used to sell 36,000 tickets a year. Now we're down to 19,000, and it's kind of flattened or it's decreasing. And so the question is, how do we trim the tree? How do we create a new kind of experience around the tree that would grow, change the trajectory or the narrative? So we're trying some new things this year to hope turn the thing around. So the cost this year is going to be $5 and $10. $10 for the really nice seats. So some people were like, it's too expensive.
Yeah.
Some people thought it's too long.
Well, these are all things that people have told us, and numerous people. I mean, not one-off things. You collected data from people that was numerous data. And
not just one person.
And that is one of the helpful things of having come from a business background, like collecting actual data to know what's working, what's not working.
Right.
So keep going.
So it costs too much, some people said, or it's too long. We're trying to hold the program to 75 to 80 minutes so that
without an
you can bring
intermission.
little children, no intermission, and just really let it be an experience where people walk away wanting it to be maybe a little bit more. You know, you want to leave people wanting more. And then it's going to be very Christ-centered this year around the subject of Advent.
Well, it's always Christ-centered.
Well, but this year, with Advent being kind of the focus, the different parts of the prophecies of Jesus' coming. So, yeah, we're going to have some fun doing the things we've normally done, but we are going to have a time where we kind of turn and let the program build toward the coming of Jesus as the arrival of the King. I'm excited about it. So
the tree is still going to be up there. The kids are still going to be in it. Those are the things that were like, we were backstage. We saw them.
We climbed into it.
Tree down, tree up. Like, we saw all the fun things about that. And so it was really, that was special. And we would never want to kill that sort of nostalgic. I mean, the memories people have with that.
Well, when you come in and inherit a church, you know there's certain traditions that are growing and there's certain ones that are weakening. The question is, can you rescue that, redeem it, turn it into something else so that it becomes new again?
Yeah.
I think that's really going to be the challenge. And what I want to say to people is, if you love the tree, then vote with your feet and bring lots of people, and let's see that thing turn around.
What would you say to people about Lifeway when they would say, we were so sad to see Lifeway close?
Yeah, so when I got to Lifeway, we had to close all the stores.
No, they were already closed.
That decision had already been made. But Lifeway had this saying, because it's a church resource company, they would say, we never abandon something that the church hasn't already abandoned. So if the church is buying it, consuming it, loving it, of course Lifeway is going to keep producing it. But when the church starts to decline its interest, then Lifeway has to design new resources. I think that's where Bellevue is today. If the church is going to come back, then we've got to refuel it, re-energize it, and give it new vision. Or we do something else around Christmas, which will be great too. So,
all right, let's end on a high note.
High notes. What's your high note for the week?
Well, it's a little bit tricky, but we had all of our kids home for Christmas. first this summer. And we normally try to give the high note about Bellevue, and this does turn into that, in that they were all home. And I could say like special moments that every one of them has had with a Bellevue person,
Yeah.
even numerous men that poured into our boys' lives over this past summer. Max has experienced the MA, the way people have loved Jack, even Miles, several different men were really invested in his life. And so that was the high note for me. I mean, taking Miles back was so bittersweet, but he had such a good summer here that it was,
Met some incredible
yeah,
people.
it was great.
Yeah.
Go, your turn.
When I was moving Miles in, my phone lit up with texts that
Wednesday night?
choir rehearsal is experiencing revival. There were like more than 75 people that came and tried out choir rehearsal.
Mhm.
They had to bring in more seats. And I heard that the spirit in the room was just so fun and exciting. Our daughter, Ava, went and tried out.
Mhm.
She's never been in the choir.
No, but she was excited
She
about it.
loved it.
Yeah.
So I'm just really excited to see what's happening with our
Yeah.
choir right now, the energy, the enthusiasm, because they are the worship leaders in that room.
Mhm.
I can bring a certain amount of energy, but when you have 200 people that come in excited about what they're singing,
Mhm.
it really changes the worship. So way to go, people responding to choir all call.
Yep.
We got one more this week. If you're interested in choir, come and check it out. All right, that's
it.
episode 16.
Yes.
See you next time.